Hey there, Cinemaster fans! Hope you're ready for some movie magic. Let's dive right in. The series begins in 2013 on April 7th, with a family waiting at the airport for their flight back home to New York. They hear over the airport microphone that due to booking pressures and schedule changes, some passengers will have to wait for flight 828, which will depart a bit later. Among the passengers is a police detective named Michaela, traveling to New York with her brother Ben and his son Cal, who is battling leukemia. Cal has a twin sister, Olive, who boards an earlier flight with the rest of the family, leaving Cal on flight 828. The plane takes off with all its passengers, but before reaching New York, it encounters a severe storm that shakes the plane violently, as if it might be destroyed. The lights go out, emergency lights come on, and the passengers are terrified. Eventually, the weather stabilizes, and the plane returns to normal as it continues toward the airport. However, when the pilot tries to communicate with air traffic control, the controller is shocked upon hearing the flight number, 828. The plane is cleared to land, but military, emergency, and security vehicles are waiting for them. The passengers are informed that the plane took off on April 7, 2013, but disappeared from radar shortly after. The current date is November 4, 2018, meaning the plane has been missing for 5 years. All the passengers were declared missing and presumed dead. The passengers are in disbelief, thinking it must be a prank, but the National Security Agency official, Vance, explains the situation and begins an investigation. Medical examinations reveal that none of the passengers have aged a day, as if they passed through a time anomaly into 2018. The passengers are placed under observation in a camp while being interrogated, but none of them can explain what happened. After 36 hours of investigations, news spreads, and the passengers' families arrive at the airport to reunite with loved ones they thought were long dead. Ben reunites with his now teenage daughter Olive, who has grown taller than him, while his wife Grace is overjoyed to see him and their son alive. However, the joy is short-lived when they learn that Ben's mother passed away 2 years ago. The family returns to a home that has changed over the years, hoping to rest after their ordeal. Meanwhile, the plane is examined for anomalies, but nothing unusual is found. Michaela, worried about her fiancé Jared, goes to the police station where she used to work. She learns from her colleagues, who warmly welcome her back, that Jared has been promoted and is working on a kidnapping case. Michaela also discovers that Jared married her close friend a year ago, leaving her heartbroken. As for her, Jared was still her fiancé from just days earlier. Ben takes his son Cal to the doctor, where they learn that a treatment for leukemia has been developed during the years they were missing, giving Cal hope for a longer life. The family is overjoyed by the news. Meanwhile, Michaela experiences a strange voice in her head while riding a bus, urging the driver to slow down. She yells at the driver to stop, just in time to save a child chasing a ball across the street. Another passenger from Flight 828, a medical researcher, returns to her job and discovers that her pre-disappearance research has been implemented, contributing to cancer treatment. Her colleagues throw her a welcome back pay RTEI. The next morning, Michaela hears the mysterious voice again, urging her to free 2 dogs barking behind a fence. She initially ignores it, but later returns to the location, where she finds her brother Ben, who reveals he also hears the same voice. They decide to free the dogs, but keep the strange phenomenon a secret to avoid being subjected to more tests or experiments. The police later identify Michaela from surveillance footage showing her freeing the dogs. Jared confronts her, but she has no explanation for her actions. The dogs are returned to their owner, who is apologized to by the police. Ben tries to rebuild his relationship with Olive by attending her soccer game, but he approaches cautiously, knowing she had undergone therapy to cope with his disappearance. Michaela and Jared visit the dog's owner to apologize, but when Michaela approaches the dogs, she hears the voice again, urging her to free them. She breaks open a door and discovers 2 kidnapped girls who had been missing for days, and she discovers that the voice was telling her to free the girls, not the dogs. Jared is shocked by what he sees and arrests the kidnapper who tried to attack him, but he eventually captures him. The police forces arrive, and everyone learns what Michaela did. She returns to her job because she was able to solve the case shortly after coming back. At the same time, some people who were on the plane experience severe headaches, and something inside them compels them to head to the airport immediately. When they arrive, they are shocked to find they all arrived at the same time and realize they all felt the same sensation and acted in the same way simultaneously. At that moment, the plane explodes in front of them without any reason or explanation. When the National Security Agency learns what happened and that the explosion occurred in the presence of 20 passengers, they interrogate them all over again. Their answers were identical. They felt they needed to go to the airport without any reason. They were released after 10 hours of questioning, but were placed under surveillance to ensure they were not hiding anything. The next day, one of them hears a certain sound in his head that no one else hears. but he ignores it and goes about his day as usual. He and Grace take their son, Cal, to a chemotherapy session, where they meet Sanvi and learn she was on the flight. They are surprised to find out that Cal is being treated thanks to her cancer research. After the session ends, Ben is walking down the street when he hears the same sound in his head again. He decides to follow the source of the sound and ends up meeting Rad, a street musician who was also on the same flight. Rad tells him he left his son, Audio, when he was 13 years old to travel with his neighbor. Because of what happened on the flight, he was separated from his son for a long time. When he returned to look for him, he found out his son was in prison, and no one was willing to help him see him. Ben asks Jared to help Rad see his son through his connections. When Rad meets his son, Audio tells him he is innocent and was falsely accused of stealing from the jewelry store where he worked. Because Ben believes Audio, he decides to help him and asks his sister to reopen the case and review it herself. However, Michaela finds that all the evidence is indeed against Audio. Additionally, he used a fake ID to get the job in the first place, which confirmed the crime against him. The fake ID was used to secure the job at the jewelry store, which he was accused of stealing from. The next day, Rad visits his son in prison and tells him that all the evidence is against him. But Audio insists he didn't steal anything from the store and only used the fake ID to get a better job than the one he had. He remains adamant about his innocence. That night, Grace brings many new toys for Cal to play with because all his old things were thrown away due to his long absence. Cal has plenty of toys in front of him, but remains upset because he misses his old belongings, like his rock collection and small toys. They discover from Olive, Cal's twin sister, that she kept most of his things in a storage unit far from the house. She couldn't throw them away or donate them because they belonged to her brother. Among the items was something that belonged to Danny, Grace's friend, and her partner during Ben's absence. The storage unit was under Danny's name. Ben learns that his wife was in a relationship with someone else while he was gone. Before they start moving the items out of the storage unit, Ben hears the same sound again. It's a strange ringing, but he feels it's a real ringtone from someone's phone nearby. When he follows the sound, he finds someone standing in front of him with many pieces of jewelry from the store Audio was accused of stealing from. The person standing there is the son of the store owner and the real thief. At that moment, Ben is able to apprehend the thief and informs the police and his sister Michaela, so they can arrest him. Later, Audio is released because he is indeed innocent, as he claimed. Rad is very happy. Michaela is at home and opens her Facebook profile, where she sees her friend's profile. Her friend had always posted about how much she missed Michaela and never forgot her. This reminds Michaela of their friendship, and she starts crying. She decides to visit her friend and talk to her, telling her she forgives her for everything that happened. Meanwhile, Ben learns more about Danny, Grace's friend, and talks to his wife. He tells her he doesn't blame her for being in a relationship after he disappeared. He understands she did it to cope with the hardships and struggles she faced during his absence. Grace is very grateful for his understanding and that he isn't upset with her. Afterward, we are introduced to Kelly, one of the passengers from Flight 828. She becomes the spokesperson for the passengers and appears on many TV shows to speak on their behalf. She frequently blames the government for hiding important information from them and not being interested in uncovering the truth about what happened to them. While Kelly is watching the news, someone comes up behind her and kills her. The police arrive to investigate her murder and the news of her death spreads. Ben fears the murder might be connected to the passengers of the flight, so he warns his wife, Grace, to be careful and to watch over Cal as well. He believes Kelly's murder might be related to her being a passenger on Flight 828. Sanvi tells Ben that there is a strange protein in Cal's blood test results, which appeared after his return from the flight. They decide to keep this information a secret between them so no one else learns about it or its cause. Later, Ben and Michaela go to Kelly's crime scene, but they find Vance there, who prevents them from entering the house. The case is now under the jurisdiction of the U.S. National Security Agency. Michaela tries to talk to Kelly's husband the next day at his house while he is preparing for her funeral. He tells them he is certain his wife's murder is related to the interviews she was conducting and her criticism of the government. Michaela decides she must uncover the reason behind Kelly's death and the murder because it is undoubtedly strongly connected to Flight 828. The murder might hold significant information and an explanation for what happened on the flight. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all new updates. See you in the next video.